After months of being an Avenger on Earth, defeating villains and saving the day, Thor says fuck Earth and returns to Asgard. He quickly worries when he finds empty chairs and tables on a festive day that Odin named after him. He finds Volstagg eating by himself and asks what happened, to which he informs Thor that his father, Odin, seems displeased with him. Suddenly, Odin screams at him, furious for missing out on the holiday named in his honor. He even went to the trouble of putting his name out front, hoping Thor wouldn't forget. Thor explains that he got caught in a battle of honor against the villainous Serpent Society. Odin furiously points out that those on Earth should not matter to Asgardians like them. Odin disapproves of Thor's double life as an Avenger, which he describes as traipsing around with Earthlings. Although he has nothing against them, he worries that humans are fragile creatures and that Thor will eventually outlive all of them. Thor objects to Odin's conclusion and claims that humans are strong and that their true power comes from within. He even says they are often stronger than him, but Odin refuses to listen. Suddenly, Heimdall, the gatekeeper, interrupts their argument and informs them that Earth suddenly disappeared from his all-seeing gaze briefly. He worries that something must have happened on Earth. Thor looks back at Odin and claims he'd rather go with his blessing, but he refuses to give it. As Thor hurriedly returns to Earth, Odin shouts that he doesn't belong on Earth, but Thor refuses to listen. Odin claims that humans will one day disappoint him with their weakness. Thor quickly returns to Earth, but is surprised to find an unfamiliar building where the Avengers Tower used to be. When he recklessly approaches it, it attacks him with the tower's defenses, and he falls to the ground. Still dumbfounded over what just happened, he later discovers a giant statue of Dr. Doom. Thor refuses to believe it, claiming Doom couldn't have conquered Manhattan in mere hours, especially with the Avengers to stop him. Wondering where the Avengers are, an army of robots starts shooting at him. They quickly overwhelm him with their numbers when suddenly, an arrow takes out the robots, much to his relief. He then throws Mjolnir at the enemy, while the masked archer provides cover, shooting and dodging enemy attacks. He quickly assumed Hawkeye had come to rescue him, but was surprised by his unique outfit. The masked archer then calls for backup, to which a winged hero and an armored web-slinger show up to help, to which Thor is unsure if they are the Falcon and Spider-Man, given their unfamiliar outfits. The web-slinger wonders if the legends about Thor are true, believing him to be the one who's supposed to save humanity. That said, the web-slinger asks Thor to prove himself worthy of the title of the Thunderer. As more Doombots show up, Thor grows tired and decides to summon raging thunder to take the enemy out in one hit. Seeing him take all of them out, the archer tells the others never to call him Dumb Blonde again, worried he would use his power on them. Trying to make sense of what's happened, Thor asks the archer what's happened to Hulk, Iron Man, and Captain America, but the others make faces that appear as if they don't know who they are. What's more surprising is when the others discover Thor knew Barton's name, even though they just met him. The archer claims they have plenty to talk about, to which Hawkeye then orders a retreat. Thor was surprised when they called themselves the Defenders instead of the Avengers, which they later escaped by boat. On the boat, Clint introduces himself as Bullseye Barton, Peter Parker as Slinger, and Sam Wilson as Snap. Barton claims that although they don't know him, others predicted he would come. Slinger explains that ever since Doom took over, there have been talks of the one they call the Thunderer. Rumors say that the Thunderer will be humanity's salvation, the only man that Doom has ever feared. Barton explains that they had waited years for him to arrive, but when he finally did, they got a tip from the inside that he would show up that night. Thor is confused that they have waited years when he was only gone for a day. Suddenly, they are attacked by what looks to be Black Widow leading an army of Doombots. She claims to be a loyal servant of Doom, the Black Bride. Thor tries to convince Black Bride by talking to her by her first name, but she sees through him, claiming that Doom warned her that he would try to trick her. Suddenly, a giant device approaches them, to which Thor hurls Mjolnir at it, but it traps it in a stasis field instead. Thor tries to pull his hammer back to him, but the device has caught it in its trap. That said, Barton claims they can use the blackout for cover. Thor claims that Avengers do not run, but Barton insists that defenders prioritize their safety so they can fight another day. Slinger then throws a couple of smoke grenades, to which Black Bride orders the Doombots to take them all. Black Bride reports to Doom how she lost the defenders but retrieved the Thunderer's hammer, much to Doom's delight. Thor and the defenders retreat to their headquarters, which Thor recognizes as S.H.I.E.L.D.'s helicarrier. Barton claims that Fury managed to crash it here before he died. Fortunately for them, the ship's stealth generators still work, which they manage to avoid capture. Suddenly, Slinger aims his weapon at Thor. Barton tries to talk to him, but Snap even claims that the Black Bride's showing up is too much of a coincidence. They start to think that the legends may not even be true after showing up so late when they needed him years ago. Thor explains that he unfortunately doesn't have the answers, and insists that he is there to help, asking them how Doom came to conquer everything. Barton claims that Doom came out of nowhere years ago as a dictator of some country no one has ever heard of. It wasn't long before he came out armed with technology that no one had seen before, leaving the world to join him or be destroyed. While they were still arguing, the walls suddenly crumbled, to which Doom himself appeared out of nowhere. The defenders tried fighting back, but Doom quickly took them out. Thor recklessly charges at him in a fit of rage, but Doom attacks him with a powerful green light that disintegrates his armor. Later, Doombots carry the unconscious Thor and the defenders back to their base, where Black Bride escorts them. She warns him that should Thor try to resist, she will not hesitate to kill a defender of her choosing. They take Thor to the throne room, where Doom awaits him. Thor furiously breaks free when he sees Captain America frozen in ice and attacks Doom. Doom stops him with his own hands and uses his powers to knock him down. He explains that his weapons are quite effective against him, which are arc repulsors enhanced by Banner's gamma rays. Thor asks him how he came to conquer Earth so quickly. Doom explains that he hasn't conquered anything but instead saved humanity. He claims to have eliminated every disease, eradicated world hunger, and ended petty conflicts, all in exchange for their abject devotion. Thor claims that the Avengers or the Fantastic Four would have stopped him, but Doom claims they do not exist. Black Bride interrupts them and claims that Stark is again agitated for failing to break Mjolnir and suggests asking Thor for assistance. When Thor sees Mjolnir suspended in the air, he tries to pull it to him, but Stark stops him and explains that his weapon is locked in a static time-space bubble. He claims his hammer is going nowhere unless Thor decides to renounce whatever hold he has over it and relinquish control to Doom. Thor claims he would rather die than deny his bond with Mjolnir. Thor tries to convince Stark to come to his senses, but he explains that Doom saved him. When he was still with S.H.I.E.L.D. as their weapons maker, one of the enemies got hold of his missiles and shot it back at him. Suddenly, Doom shows up out of nowhere and saves him. He even claims that if it weren't for Doom, he would have taken a chest full of shrapnel. Since that day, he has been working with Doom. Out of nowhere, Bruce Banner shows up, and Thor claims that the Hulk would bow to no man, certainly not Doom. Banner claims that Doom also saved his life. On the day of the accident, Doom showed up and saved him by making a suit that protected him from his gamma radiation. Banner claims that Doom revolutionized power for the entire world. Hearing their stories, Thor realizes that Doom traveled back in time to turn two of the brightest minds into loyal servants. Doom claims that without extraordinary powers, they would simply be human. He then explains that, unfortunately, Asgard falls off the time stream, so he has spent years preparing for his arrival. He demanded Thor release the hammer, which he believed to be the key to other worlds. Realizing Thor wouldn't willingly surrender his weapon, Doom orders his and the Defenders' public execution. Later, Doom announces to the rest of the world how he became an emperor out of necessity and to save humanity from itself, a weak and corrupt breed. He forces the people to listen to him and orders his men to kill anyone who retaliates. That said, he then lines up Thor and the Defenders in front of everybody to be executed. Seeing people cheer their deaths, Thor is forced to agree with Odin's beliefs in humanity and that he may not know any of them. Refusing to believe that, Thor speaks up in front of the camera and lays out what he believes to be true. He declares that he believes in humanity's strength and honor and has never regretted his decision to protect Earth. He then calls them to arms and fights back, but Doom laughs at his attempts to rouse the public. When the executioner aims his weapon at the defenseless Thor, Black Bride gives the signal, which the executioner reveals to be the Punisher in disguise. Right on cue, Stark joins the Resistance and takes out the Doombots guarding the prisoners. Banner then releases the restraint on Mjolnir, and it quickly flies to Thor. Black Bride explains that they have waited long for him from the only man that Doom has ever feared. As Mjolnir makes its way to Thor, it topples the ice that Captain America is encased in and slowly breaks from the cracks. When Thor calls out Mjolnir to him, Doom attacks him with his power, which takes him down before his hammer can reach him. With Thor dying, Doom celebrates his victory of defeating everyone in his way. He tried to pick up Mjolnir but couldn't lift it, even with his newfound powers. Black Bride claims that humanity never gives up, and she then uses her bite to revive Thor with a jolt of lightning. Thor quickly recovers and pulls the hammer to him, summoning massive lightning to regain his strength. With everyone with him, he leads the others, calling them the Avengers, in their final battle against Doom. Outnumbered, Doom is furious at them for foiling his master plan, and he escapes into the air. Thor worries that Doom is planning to use his time machine again. Doom plans to use his device to eliminate the Avengers before they are born. Banner walks in before the time machine is activated and powers it down. Claiming to be the smartest person, Banner explains that he was already aware of his time machine device, hidden in the only room he was never allowed into. Furious, Doom tries to attack him, but Banner warns against using gamma radiation on him as it could unleash the Hulk. Thor arrives and claims that even without powers, his friends are heroes, and that will never change. When Doom is about to activate the self-destruct mode, Captain America arrives and knocks him out with his shield. With Doom defeated, Stark claims that reports are coming in that Doom's networks are falling apart. To ensure that everything returns to the way it is, they plan to send Thor on the time machine to fix what Doom has changed. Banner worries that Doom could keep changing time repeatedly until he gets what he wants, so Stark suggests sending Thor when Doom first uses the machine. Thor claims that Heimdall sensed it from Asgard at midnight in New York. That said, Banner recalibrates the time machine to which Thor arrives just in time when Doom is first about to activate the machine. Thor sneaks inside and overpowers the machine with too much power that it blows up. Doom suspects it must be the causal feedback loop, which he has already considered. When the AI asks him if he wants to continue, Doom takes out his anger on it and destroys the robot with his powers. He is furious about spending years mining materials and perfecting science, only to end up as a failure. Thor is relieved to hear that Doom has abandoned his plan altogether. At the Avengers Tower, Thor walks in to find the Avengers in an argument when Captain America raises the levels in the training room, which causes an explosion in the tower. Captain America argues that they need to be better prepared for anything. Hawkeye then asks them who destroyed his ice cream maker, while Hulk is furious when he discovers someone has touched his figurine collection. Thor bursts into laughter, and Hulk furiously tells him to return to Asgard. Thor claims he would rather stay on Earth in the company of his friends. Thank you for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap the bell to be notified about our latest videos. See you next time.